Hey, good morning. There I am. I'm back. Hello, hello. My name is Jeff Fritz. Welcome back to my live stream. We're going to write a little bit of code today. What day is today? Dear Lord, it's been that long. Today is November 29th, 2018. And thank you so much for joining me. It has been 10 days since I've been here. Mordecai. Yes, thank you so much for that subscription. If you don't know, here on my stream, we make donations for all of our subscriptions, and we donate to, there you go, like Gareth.
Nice hat, good sir.
I haven't even gotten to the hat yet. But thank you so much. We will make donations to Girl Develop It based on those subscriptions. Thank you so much. Oh, it's a train. Thank you, Smab, so much for that subscription. Yes, you can use your Twitch Prime here, of course. And you'll get to use the .NET bot emote, and we'll make that donation to Girl Develop It. All right, I've been going for 10 days. Anything happened while I was gone? I wrote a lot on Twitter. I jumped into Discord a little bit. We have a Discord server for the channel, if that's something you're interested in. Thank you for that kind cheer, Magnus. Yeah, I think I'll get to that in a second. But I was hanging out. I was doing a lot of thinking about our projects during my time away, and I wrote down some notes. Thank you for that kind subscription, Oren. I appreciate that as well. And we'll get to some of those in the future. I don't want to share some of them prematurely. I want to make sure that we get in the direction that I'm going. And is that J.A. McNeil? Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us, and look forward to seeing you in the chat room. So I try to wear a different hat each stream. Today's hat, this is a hat that I got while I was at Animal Kingdom at Disney World in Orlando. I had my family down there. My daughters have picked out my hats, particularly my younger daughter. She's very critical about the hats she wears. Dad, you got to wear a cool hat. All right, cool. So she picked out this one from the Expedition Everest ride. It's a roller coaster that's meant to look like it's climbing Everest. And you chase the Yeti through all the Himalayas that they've got there. Spider045, thanks so much for that kind subscription with your Twitch Prime. I appreciate that. And so they thought this was kind of cool with all the Everest logos. And of course, check out the brim. Expedition Leader. Isn't that cool? So they thought that'd be really cool for me to wear on stream, and I'm happy to share that. Need to wear hats on stream now. Your hair gets far too bad. I'll share this secret with you. My hair is terrible, and that's why I wear hats on stream, so I don't have to brush it in the morning. I've been slowly addressing our chat room this morning. I haven't said good morning and hello to everybody. Hello, Ninja Ola. Gareth is here. Hello. VoltageX, thanks so much for stopping in. Looks like you haven't been able to stick around. That's okay. But thanks so much for stopping by. Mordecai, I thank you. Jonas Grays. Oh, thanks for the kind comment there about great channel. Let's see who else is here. Shy Sharp, hello. Maker Blaker, hey, it's great to see you. And Jester98X. Lannon, oh, I had a great vacation. It was a good time away.
Always great content.
Thank you, Mr. Eggs. I appreciate that kind subscription. 4 months in a row. That's awesome. 3 months for Mordecai. That's great too. Good time zone all. Thank you, Stelzy. And DNet78 is here. All right, let's see. Did I miss anything else here? Coded Beard, hello. And Rambling Geek. We had some great conversations with Rambling Geek over the last week or so. All right. Let's get to it. Let's talk about this. So let's see. What do we need to do first? We need to get some music playing in the background. Twitch has had a little announcement. They're going to crack down a little bit more on folks playing unlicensed content. However, I'm very thankful to our friend Carl Franklin, who allows us to play music to code by while we're writing code together. So I hope you join me in enjoying the music that helps us get focused, get that project done you're working on, kind of let everything, all your worries fall by the wayside and let you focus on exactly the task at hand. And if you've ever seen me broadcast, or if you've had an opportunity to see behind the scenes what I do here, It's crazy how much stuff is going on. And if there's anything that I need, it's a lot of focus because I'm back and forth following everything that's going on. I'm going to start off with an old favorite, the first one in the collection. This is Blue, the first song in the Music to Code By collection. You can get this for free at musictoflowby.com. You can sign up there for an app that'll, with a subscription, give you great music each month that you can listen to. Tremendous content from Carl, and we want to thank him so much for letting him listen to and code along with his music as we stream here on the channel. Thank you so much, Carl. And please support Carl if you enjoy his music. Get a subscription, purchase the collection from mtcb.pwop.com. Alrighty. And I do need to say a little bit of that because the folks at Twitch are monitoring folks that are playing unlicensed music. So I want to make sure that we give credit his due. VIP badge. Yeah. So there are VIP badges now for folks who participate and make great contributions on channels. You'll see me set folks up as a moderator if they're around a lot and they're helping to curate some of the chat content in the chat room. You'll also see me award folks VIP badges if they've been around and they've been a great participant for a long time here. So we've been slowly handing them out. Let's see here. What do we got? Hey Bruno, good to see you. So today I want to spend some time getting back into our Stream Tools project. So our Stream Tools project is, there we go. All right. Let me change scenes here. Let's go over. Hey, look at that. Our Stream Tools project is a project we've been working on that helps to make tools for folks that are building streams just like this one. Just like this one. There we go. Now you can see my finger. A little bit easier to use. And we've done some things to build out and make a series of widgets and things that you can use on stream and also enhance this stream. Things like this rainbow beard gauge here. So we've had this rainbow beard challenge where we've been trying to recruit new followers. And for each follower that we have on the stream, that gauge fills up and it gets closer and closer to 5,000. If we make 5,000 by December 1, I will dye this beard rainbow for Dev Intersection next week in Las Vegas. It's also Microsoft Connect. I don't think we're going to make it. I see what you're trying to do there. Unsub and resub and unfollow and refollow to try and make that happen. I don't think that's going to happen. Mr. Magoo asks, anyone know how to open the chat window in Chrome? If you go to the bottom, there's a little gear at the bottom of... right? Yeah, there's a little gear at the bottom of the chat window here on Twitch. If you click that, and it's about halfway down, you see chat options, and there's a pop out there. You can pop that out and put it onto another screen. Hey, Svava, good to see you. Jean Dreloon is here. Hello, hello. How many hats does Fritz have? I don't know. I don't know how many I have. And I've actually got a couple more that I'll be wearing tomorrow and next week in Las Vegas, and I'm getting some more hats made as well. So our Stream Tools project that we were working on helps to make tools for streamers that are writing code a little bit easier to use. I don't know of anybody else using it, but at the very least, this is something that's going to help make our stream, our channel here, a little bit more friendly, a little bit easier to use. And we started working on a little bit of a project last time, that over the last week or so, last few weeks maybe. Yeah. Where we've been building a Visual Studio extension and a little bit of live coding for our bot that's sitting in the chat room, and you can see it there, FritzBot, where you'll be able to send code to me with a specially formatted chat command, and we're going to work on that later, but we're going to allow that to come and appear in my Visual Studio as we're writing code. Kind of like live share, but a little bit different, more like live code suggestions. Gareth asks, Philly.net hat. What's the story there? So I had a hat that I got a long time ago, maybe 9 years ago now, that says Philly.net on it. It's a khaki colored hat, that tan color. Really cool hat for my local user group. And my wife made it disappear. Need to figure that out. Do I have other hat styles? Need a Sherlock Holmes style for the deep detective debugging. Oh, Mr. Regs. I have Santa hats. I have a fez. You've seen me wear a pirate hat a couple times here. Of course, wool caps. Those are the big ones I have. I have a driver's cap that I haven't worn, but there's others. The baseball caps fit nicely with the headphones here. So these are some of the things that we've been working on around this concept of being able to share code directly from chat into Visual Studio. Hey, Fairy Wings, thanks so much for the host. I appreciate that. So what I want to do is I want to dig back into this, and we were writing this Visual Studio extension.
9 months. I'm sure that can't be true.
Oh, I think it is, Mr. Magoo. Thank you so much. 9 months. Don't they call it a Twitch baby when you get to 9 months? That is awesome. Very cool. And Devin Raider, thank you so much for bringing your Twitch Prime to our channel. Clark.io is doing a similar interaction to the code suggestions extension you are making, but with Visual Studio Code. That's news to me. Need to add more hats to the merch store. There are Microsoft hats available. There are no such things as Visual Studio hats or Azure hats. So let's do this. Let's get over. There we go. That's a little bit easier to see what's going on. So I'm in the middle of working on this, getting our live code suggestions into Visual Studio as an extension. But I do have some other issues that we've opened and I've docked over here in our GitHub project. You can take a look at these, read a little bit about what types of suggestions we have, what cool things we would be interested in building as part of this, so that we can enable you to participate more directly with our interactions, with our code that we're building on stream. So we've got bot commands for things like what live share are we using, how do you get that command so you can connect in and watch me write code live in Visual Studio. We want a command to be able to send you what repository, what project are we currently working in. We want to make sure the Fritz bot doesn't recognize file names in a code suggestion as a hyperlink. And we need some validation around our code suggestions command. Visual Studio Code hats need to become a thing, Gareth says. Even when I'm not working on .NET, I use VS Code. That's a very cool idea, Gareth. Wow, I really like that idea. Let's do something about that. Let's do something about that. Hey, Fairy Wings, thank you so much for those emotes. Brings a smile to my face to see that. Let's see here. Let's, I think the idea of a @code hat would go over so well with folks in the dev community. Can we make this happen? Oh my gosh, we're getting raided. We're getting raided. HHXX, thank you so much for that raid. Good morning, raiders. My name is Jeff Fritz. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to write a little bit of code today. Got some folks asking some questions about Visual Studio Code here. But we're going to be writing a little bit of code today to build a Visual Studio extension to allow folks that are in the chat room to send code that will appear directly in my Visual Studio as line items that we can review and accept or reject, almost like on-the-fly live pull requests. And there's a link to that Twitter status if you're interested in commenting along. Yes, it does take a smart cookie to come up with that idea, Gareth. So thanks so much for joining us from HHXX. And thank you so much, HHXX, for the raid. I really appreciate you helping that. GitHub Desktop supports this. Supports what? Give me a little context there. Fletcher King says, I found an issue with live share while trying to teach my brother C#. When connecting to another user, hotkeys auto-format are not functioning. And hit enter between. It would not auto-format the braces. I haven't had that problem, Fletcher. I've had it work quite nicely. Reach out to the folks on LiveShare, and they'll talk to you through their GitHub issues. So let's take a look at the pull requests that I have out here. I have a bunch of pull requests from Dependabot to bump things from preview this version to preview that version. I don't want to waste a lot of time bumping these versions. Let me come back to this one. That's fine. But these dependencies, I don't see any here that are screaming, I must update these. This one from Alex, let's take a look at this. And I'll come back. Some of those dependency improvements will address later. I can even do those offline. I don't think you need to watch me merge pull requests from Dependabot. Alex says, I noticed one of the tests should ignore commands if too fast if moderator was failing depending on whether it was debug or release. Here's an update to the test code to add a if debug condition. So if you see this in your code, this is a conditional compilation argument. And verify the parameter matched the actual code, tested this fix locally and using Azure Pipelines. Alex is also going to help us get it working with Azure Pipelines so we can build and test our code on the fly as these things come in. Switching configs within the Visual Studio IDE requires a restart and appears to be impacted by the .NET project system. Oh no! All right, let's take a look at the change from Alex. Here, so this is a conditional compilation argument, right? This is saying, right, that hash if says only evaluate this when you're compiling, and if you don't have the debug marker set, do this. And then end if. So that's kind of cool. And this looks like, it sure looks like it merges properly. So I'm going to squash and merge and include this in our current project. Now this is going to come into my dev branch. All right. Thanks for the contribution. I really appreciate fixing this annoyance when we were testing. Cool. I'm back in Pennsylvania, back in Philly, and I've already started developing a cold. Who knew? All right, so that pull request from Alex is going to appear up top in that ticker that you see going by there. That, of course, is our GitHub scoreboard ticker, whatever. Yeah, it's our GitHub ticker that shows all the contributions from folks like you that have helped out with our projects, and you'll see everybody's names up there as we celebrate all the folks that have done some really cool help with us on our projects here. So I want to make sure I also thank your Crumilor76. Thanks for that follow earlier. I didn't have a chance to acknowledge you. Thanks so much, and I look forward to hearing from you in the chat room. Let me just take a quick peek at the chat room real quick. Does VS Code Hat come with a Node modules folder to keep your meeting notes in? That's funny, Mr. Magoo. That's funny. There we go. Thank you. Somehow you only have a 7-second delay today. Ooh. Visual Studio 2017 Pro. Yeah, I haven't had. I'm tempted to go for a Newtonsoft one because it's a significant update. I'm not wrapped up in that just yet. Well played, Fairy Wings. There's an inside joke about the Bob's command, and that was an inside joke with some of the lady streamers at TwitchCon. I'm not going to I'm not going to explain that here, but that's yes, that's a thing. The Bob's command. I'll need to make that into something. I'm thinking making a ticker for my computer to be able to see at a glance at the top of my screen and seeing various information through the day. Cool. Electron apps weren't so resource hungry. That's my only real complaint about VS Code. Yeah, I don't blame you on that. Electron apps are quite resource hungry. All right, I'm going to take a look here. I've already pulled in a bunch. Let me pull again. All right, and I'm going to go over, let's merge dev down into our branch. No. Git checkout dev. Let's move this over so you can see what I'm doing over here. There we go. Yeah, I know. I wanted to merge in my stuff that I did up there. And let's back up and merge that dev change. Now, Fairy Wings is here, and we're going to get started this month with some streams a couple days during the week where we're going to be writing some code for beginners. We're going to show beginners how to get started writing their first website. And Fairy Wings is going to be one of our guests pair programmers. We're getting together a couple of folks that are brand new to web development, that haven't done web development, or they have done just a little bit and gotten started. And together, we're going to show some folks how to start writing their first website. And I'm very thankful to her that she's going to join us and be one of our first pair programmers on this newbie series. And we're going to start that in the next 2 weeks here. In December, I'm going to be scheduling folks. As you know, next week I'll be at Connect. I'll be at Dev Intersection, but we're going to get that set up. But in the meantime, I encourage you to check out her stream, her channel. Fairy Wings builds chainmail. Chainmail. Didn't end in the medieval ages. That's very cool stuff. You got to check out what she's working on. Click through. She is Twitch. I can do this. I've got the shoutout command. We built that. Haha, there you go. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Everybody Twitter account. I don't have a keyboard command, but this is a Razer. This is not Razer. I'm sorry. This is a Vortex Racer keyboard. Why .NET? Why not? Why not? What's wrong with .NET? .NET's open source. It runs on every platform, and that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be building here with Visual Studio using Windows and live coding together, and I'm going to share the code out to you using LiveShare. I've been playing around with Blazor, looking forward to when it is released, says DNet78. I kind of agree with you. There's a lot to go on there. A lot to happen there that I think is going to be amazing. The GitHub repository we're working on, of course, let me put these links into chat. This is where you can find the Stream Tools repository. And let me kick off a live share, and we'll make this read-only. Are you kidding? I don't know why I need to keep signing into this. Here we go. There was an update to LiveShare yesterday? Okay. We're going to make this a read-only, sharing read-only. If you'd like to join in, if you'd like to hop in and appear inside of our Visual Studio, go ahead and click that link. You can sign in using Visual Studio Code, any platform, and you can watch me write the code as we're going along here. I haven't installed all these updates yet. I'll go get them later. I don't need to do that just yet. I did do some work while we were away, on a little bit of this project, and I'm thinking I may not have pushed my changes back in here. Let's see here. Thought we had a couple people just join in. There we go. I did not. I did not merge up my changes. Oh no. I did not. And they're on my other machine, which is downstairs. Let's see if I can do something about this real quick. Let's see. 1 second. Let's see if I can get some help here. Seeing if I can get somebody to grab it for me and bring it up. Let's see. Blazor. Yes, Blazor is very cool. Michael Eaton has disconnected. Oh, Eaton, I knew it. Garbagle collection is what's wrong with .NET. Yes, that's... .NET Core, ASP.NET Core is extremely fast. I don't think I'm going to get some help here. You know what? I'm going to go AFK for just a second so I can go get that laptop and merge in these other changes that I have here. Work that I did while I was on break, and just cleans up some of the formatting, some of the things going on here in this extension. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. It's intermission, what a show. It's intermission, what do you know? Quick, everyone hide. No, don't hide. All right, let's see what we got here. Laptop's over here, doing the thing. Close tabs. Let's see what we got here. Yep. Let me push up those changes. And then I'll show you what I did. It's not a lot significantly. Oh, mini burgers here. Hide. Run. Now everything's going to go to crap. No, kidding. Have to pull first. Yep. Push. All right. Now we can pull down those changes. Fantastic. So what we've been doing, we found an example out there, an example Visual Studio extension that does spelling checks for, hey, Nick's Mad Science, that we have... We found an extension out there, an extension sample. Oh, no. Well, that's no fun. Let's restart Visual Studio there and see what happened. We found an extension sample out there that does spell checking for all of the code that you're writing and working on in the current text editor. Really neat sample. It does a lot of what we want to do with our live coding interactions that we've been working on. So we've taken that, extended it a little bit, and we started working on being able to do this exact same thing and using all of those technologies, using the hooks into our Stream Tools project. Let me sign back in here. Thank you. And I'll have a new live share link. There we go. There you go, if you'd like to jump in. Okay, Minnie's not here, so let's do some shout-outs real quick. I want to shout out Nick's Mad Science. Nick does some really great streaming. You should absolutely check him out. Let's shout out... Oh, fine, I'll shout out Mini Burger. There we go. All right. So... so I built on a little bit of this spell checking and started making it so that it would suggest code based on what's coming back from a SignalR interaction that the bot is doing. Now, if you don't remember, SignalR is that live technology that .NET, that ASP.NET, ASP.NET Core as well, makes available where the server can push content to the clients that are attached. Right? A web server pushing content to its web browsers is kind of a unique thing, but it's a great technology for use when you're building things like a stock ticker or a sports score simulator, sports scoreboard, right? Where things need to be updated as soon as they happen. So we're going to use that to push data down into Visual Studio, not just into a web browser, but into Visual Studio so that they can be presented in something like the error list as a message that shows here's the various things that folks are suggesting. So they would appear as messages with a source coming from perhaps you, the person who suggests whatever code it is that we're going to write. Now, it's been a little bit of time since I've worked with and looked at this code. But let's dig in here and let's take a look at exactly what we need to address to get things moving along. What I have done is inside this file, this is code suggestion snapshot CS. This is actually the data source that's provided to the errors list window in Visual Studio. It's a little bit harder to read when I highlight that. This is what fills out this content here in this grid in Visual Studio. So for each one of our suggestions that comes in, we're going to want it to appear here in this list. And that's what this class does, is it formats that content, right? It receives a newer snapshot here and helps find that thing that we're looking for. Formats the entries in the table for the code suggestion. And you'll see if you look at this code out there in the repository, you'll see I'm going through and for each column, I'm returning various bits of information. So let me open up the error list here so we can kind of draw this comparison, right? So when the column requested is the document name, right, which is this file, we're going to return whatever file is suggested for an error category, right? And that category is... Which one is it? I'm not sure which one's the category. Maybe it's this over here? I don't know. Hey, Shorten66, thank you for the follow. The error source, I'm actually going to put the suggestions the viewer name of the person who suggested it. So I'm not sure which column that one is. We'll see what happens when we get this formatted. And for the line number that's requested, we'll output the line number that was suggested. Suggested. There you go. And if it's the column, right? Well, I got to figure out exactly where that is. This needs a little bit of work. We may need to come back to that. And for the little bit of text, right, that we're going to suggest, I'm actually going to output the code that was suggested right here. So there's more information that we can return. The error severity, I'm always going to mark this as a message. The error source is somewhere else. It's other. The build tool is a code suggestion, and I'm not sure where build tool fits in here. It's not clear to me. And then error code tooltip and the help link, right? I'm not sure what to do with this either. What do we do with this? All right. Can create details content. I don't know what this does, but sure. Whatever. Try create detail string content. I'm not sure what this is either at this point. I'll let some more folks in. There you go. So many folks get nervous about Active Directory stuff. No reason to. Active Directory is very, very friendly, easy to use. I don't like to log into it on screen. It kind of annoys me that it automatically pops up on my screen like that. All right. There we go. Let's take a look at. I think I was about to work in this proxy class, and I still have a couple of things here that are throwing errors that we need to address. Now, the format for the suggestion that we're going to receive looks like, let's find the command here. I don't see it. I thought I had it parsed out and listed here. Oh, there it is. Looks like this. Right now, that's okay. That's not bad. But getting this formatted and sent over, I've already got everything set up to put it into my project, to put it into my Stream Tools project so that it's a web thing that we can attach to. But I need to now get it loaded up in this code suggestion so that it can be presented. Now, what's annoying me right now? Can you tell I haven't streamed in a week? I'm getting back into this. I've still got some things here that I need to work out, and I brought the spell checker sample in here so I can see what things I don't have and that I should have and try and get them lined up and fixed. Spell checker appears to be building properly. If I look right there. Project references NuGet packages that are missing on this computer, so we need to install some missing NuGet packages. Let's restore NuGet packages and see if we can get things reinstalled here. So how's it going, chat room? You've gone quiet on me. What's happening? What are you interested in? We're back. We're just about into December. What cool things are you working on out there? All packages are already installed. You're arting. Oh, mini burger. That's okay. But they're not all installed. If I rebuild spell checker, let's see. Chris Jones is starting a new project for me at the minute. Oh, cool. Trying to persuade Kestrel to load an SSL cert on Linux. Okay. I thought there was some documentation on that. Data cleanup in a main database. Ooh. No, this is still not restoring those packages. That's going to be annoying. That's going to be quite annoying. If I manage NuGet packages, it says everything's installed. Tinkering with GitHub Actions, Lannon, that's very cool. I'm going to build a Twitter bot to try and put it into a container so I can move from my AZ account to the company AZ account when ready. Now, there's a very good idea, right? Using containers, and you can do that with ASP.NET Core and with ASP.NET for that matter, gives you that tremendous portability to move things around. More power to you, Rambling Geek. That looks like a very cool project. Turns out the cert needs to be in the project root, not the bin. Also helps when you use the correct password. Well, yeah. Passwords are a good thing. The Linux Shell Scripting Bible. Oh, very cool. Let us know if there's anything interesting you find in there, DNet78. rebuilding this is just not going to do anything for me. Restoring, it said restoring NuGet packages, restore completed, and it references NuGet packages that are not on this computer. Specifically looking for build tools 1502. Oh, you know what? That's an older version of the Visual Studio SDK. Strange things are afoot at the Visual Studio SDK. Wow. Okay. Let's take a look at those references. What is with all these... Okay, already. What is with all these yellow triangles? No. It was... Which one was it? Visual Studio SDK build tools. Packages. Microsoft VS SDK build tools. Yuck. Okay. Hey, Ancient Coder. Good afternoon. Great to see you. So, Microsoft VS SDK build tools. We should be able to get the latest on that, and it still work with us. What's interesting is I don't see it up here either. Well, in my references. Let's take a look over here. There we go. 26201. 26201. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Also started a project for my friend. Have to dig through all the workshops to refresh and learn good architecture practices. Oh, that's awesome. Good luck with that, Mordecai. Using Bower for my client-side dependencies, MetaCircle says. Most of my deployment size stems from stuff that comes from there that I don't actually need. Yes. I'm just about to switch to manually downloading the libs and getting rid of Bower altogether. MetaCircle, that's a common problem with Bower and NPM. You're going to end up downloading basically everything that are in those folks' GitHub repositories because that's where they point you to. And it ends up being a little bit of a maintenance nightmare with all that goo laying around out there. In Visual Studio for .NET projects, we have a project available, an extension available. Where is it? Called Libman? There it is. That will allow you to go directly to CDNJS and pull in just the libraries you need. So, right, I could start with a library here, and I could go find something like, if I wanted to find jQuery, there it is. If I wanted to find Bootstrap, there it is. And I can bring in, right, if I want just Bootstrap. Right, and I can specify, it should, right, let me, why am I not getting just Bootstrap? It should be in the list here, right? Angular Bootstrap. Interesting. React Bootstrap. Let's grab React. There's a good one that we can try. There's React. And it'll give me a version number. Right, I can specify where to place it at that point, and I can also specify what files do I actually want. And I can request just that file. Or I can request all of them. And then if I specify the destination, right, I can tell it exactly where to drop that file in my project. Now, right, let me put it in root lib. And I can, and it'll do that for me and grab just those files I need. So that's one thing you can do. You can also run something like grunt or gulp next to it to pull out just the files you need and let that repository that Bower makes, just let it make a mess. But this is something that we've built. There's an extension you can use with the .NET command line that'll work with libman and allow you to build and install that stuff. So check that out. Starting to go through Xamarin Stream, but I'm moving from Windows 10 Mobile to Android next week. Oh, good luck with that. It's not there. I ran into that yesterday. Yeah, okay. Bootstrap isn't there. Thank you, Mike. That is interesting. There, Parathon with the great tip there. .NET Tool Install Global, Microsoft Web Library Manager CLI, and you'll be able to work with that. And you don't have to be in a .NET project to use the tool. You just need the .NET SDK. You can work with that inside of a Node project if you'd like. So this isn't installing for Net 4.6, but it is installing for me for 4.7.2. How's that work? Right, if I rebuild this, it's not telling me it can't find the SDK tools over here. That's weird. All right. I'm going to copy that line directly. Drop it in here and see if that helps. And we'll do a rebuild. Rebuild all restoring packages. Yeah. Nope. Wow. 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 There he is. Well, that's going to be a pain. What if I unload and reload it? Is that going to give me a little bit of help here? I've never... Nope, won't find it. That's weird. All right, we're going to need to move on past this. I don't want to spend any more time on that. What do I got here? Oh, all right. Okay, so let's move on. I've got some errors still sitting out here that I need to resolve. There's this concept of the code suggestion tagger, and I've been trying to recognize what is an I tagger. It's a provider of tags over a buffer. I don't know what that means. There we go. If you do want to, let me copy the link. If you want to join the live share, there it is. But this looks like this is what's putting the light bulb, that light bulb interface, into Visual Studio to show here's where things are that need to be addressed, right? I think this is doing a little bit of the underline, the red underlines that we see from Visual Studio. Not bad, but also not something that I want to get wrapped up in right now. I look at this and it's like feature 1A that I want to implement. So just to get past this, I'm going to comment this out. And then, because a lot of my error list right now is that thing. So let's move past that. And we'll get... iTagger is fun, so easy to write bad code that slows down the ID. That's what I'm afraid of, Mr. Magoo. And I want to avoid that. Okay, so here is the tagger being used. Create a tagger that locates the code suggestion in the view buffer. Okay, I am not going to use that for right now. Hey, Restarted, thank you so much for that kind cheer. I appreciate that. And we'll make a donation to Girl Develop It. And what we're going to do is we're going to move you up on the scoreboard there, and we're going to put a little bit of code graffiti in here. I don't want to put it in this segment right now, if you don't mind. I'm going to put it over. I'll put it at the top of this class, if you don't mind. So we do a little bit of code graffiti to when folks show their support by cheering here on stream. I'm looking for, there we go. We put your name, cheered how much, and then the date that you cheered inside of the code that we're writing. It wasn't Gareth that made this cheer. That was restarted. Cheered 500. There we go. Thank you so much for that support, and that is going to go into our the exact same bits for bytes promotion that we're running, where cheering those bits puts you in the running for, well, it supports Girl Develop It, and it puts you in the running for a pair programming stream with me live on channel in December. Number one person at the end of the month, and it looks like right now Pac-Man Jr. has the lead. We'll get to do a pair programming stream with me. All right. Hey, and it's good to see you, Pac-Man Jr. Yes, I hope it's a happy stream. Lots of happy on the stream. Always like happy on the stream. Wonder if we can make Fritzbot put the code graffiti in the clipboard for Jeff. That is a phenomenal idea. Phenomenal. And I think that's something. Let's go over to our issues, because that feels really, really good. I think Janesco is trying to. When a viewer cheers with bits, it is added to bits for bytes. Ooh, what happened? That's fine, Pac-Man. If you don't want to, you can pass on to somebody. I don't have a problem with that. If there's somebody that's interested, or if you want me to just go to number 2, if whoever finishes first wants to just say take number 2, which in this case looks like it would be Moz, that's fine too. Let's put the cheer graffiti. Is that, did I spell graffiti right? I didn't spell graffiti right. Graffiti. There you go. On the error list, like the other code suggestions. And let's do this. I'm going to mark this as an enhancement. I'm going to mark it as up for grabs if somebody would like to work on it. Not just up for grabs. It's a good first issue. It's good. Actually, it's more than a good first issue. There's a lot for that. I'm going to take it off of that. There's a lot in there, but I'll certainly mark it as help wanted. And I'm going to add this to the Visual Studio extension over here. There is now a Twitch extension AWS challenge. Yes, there is, Janescu. However, due to my employer, it would not be appropriate for me to participate in there. Hey, Robert Tables, good to see you. What is the difference between up for grabs and good first issue? Good first issue is something that would be good for somebody who's being introduced and wants to try live coding for the first time. Up for grabs is actually handled by a website called Up for Grabs. Up for Grabs GitHub. And there it is, Up for Grabs. And this is a way to kind of promote your project and get people involved who wouldn't normally see your project. So this is a list of project curated tasks specifically for new contributors. Great way to get started with a project. So it's something that I would mark as Up for Grabs would be a little bit more introductory to get folks involved with the project who haven't seen us on stream or aren't familiar with the project, but want to learn and figure out how to participate in open source projects. Now, I thought just by marking something as Up for Grabs, it would get picked up and added to the list. Yeah, it's not on. How do we get on the list? I thought I was on the list. Each of the projects is a file in the projects folder. Aha! To add a new one, create a new file named after the project ending in .yaml. Ensure all spaces are special characters to make everyone's life easier. This guide shows. And then here's information about the project. That's not bad. I should put an entry in here. I'm going to take this as a to-do, to put stuff in here. I think that's going to be the way to go. So I'm going to leave this open so we come back to it. But I like this idea, and great suggestion, Gareth, to get this on the clipboard so we can pop it in easily. Okay. Cool. I'm going to leave it on issues. Need to do something about that hair. I'm going to mark this as null for right now. And I'm going to put a big fat to-do on this. Create the proper tagger. Just because I want to start seeing errors, code suggestions come into the error list. Get that moving in the right direction. Does that sound good, chat room? And then, of course, if you want to help, you can put together a pull request and send some stuff over. Have you ever thought of doing a stream based on perf and things like span of t? I have, Gareth. And I know some of the folks and I work with some of the folks who work on that feature. It might be fun to bring them on and talk about it at some point. And I've really got to fix that answer from Fritzbot, don't I? All right. With that commented out, let's see what else we have on the error list. 2 errors left. Code suggestion proxy does not contain a definition for file path. Now, code suggestion proxy. So this is the class that I'm intending to use as our SignalR client that's going to listen for a message to put in the error list. All right, so let's see here. Without working at Microsoft, what would be the best way for someone to ask for people to guest on their stream? Reach out, send them a tweet. If you have their email, send an email. Folks, it's very similar. Asking people to be on your stream is very similar to asking somebody to be on a podcast. You just have to make that phone call. You have to make that email. And be polite. Show them what benefit they'll have and how you can prop up and support their projects, their endeavors. Help them reach their metrics. So when we create a code suggestion proxy, this is going to receive this code suggestion provider, and that's what manages all of our code suggestions. It's like the code suggestion provider. This feels almost like in a model view controller scenario, like the controller. So this is receiving the spelling errors and dumps it into the comments. So I'm not creating a tagger yet. Sync manager. That's managing all the text buffers, if I remember correctly. And then the code suggester. So we're gonna create one of these and suggest code. Convince them to swipe right. It's like Tinder for Twitch guests. Interesting. All right. Let's see here. So, yeah, this is still got a little bit of the spell checker nomenclature in here. I'm going to change this to remove code suggester. So that name makes sense. I'm not quite sure where this would be used yet. That's also why I have the spell checker here still. Man, that dog is unhappy. If I look at the way the spell checker does this, add spell checker and remove spell checker. Find any references to it. Here we go. So the spell checker does a remove spell checker. That's weird. Oh, when it's handling the tagger. Let's come back to that. That doesn't feel right yet. Let's see over here. So I'm not going to get wrapped up in that. I'm not going to get wrapped up in this. Add a code suggestion. This call will always happen on the UI thread. Okay. So this is the code suggestion proxy, and there should only ever be one of these, I think. So this is where I believe we're going to need to make that connection to the bot HTTP endpoint and get the current list of suggestions and then publish it. So how does the spell checker, right? Because in here, this is where you can see it actually, right? It does kick update here to say, oh, here, something happened. Right, so let me kick update. If is updating, begin invoke, do update, dispatcher priority background. All right, so do update. Update the snapshot for the factory, and calling the sync can happen on any thread but those operations. Ugh, wait a sec. Wait a tick. That's kind of weird. Okay. Snapshot, new spelling error snapshot. Okay, so it's getting a new collection of snapshots. Right in the snapshot is our data source. And then it's... What's it doing? It adds the spelling error to it. Oh my gosh. Am I right? So, all right. So, spelling errors are a spelling error snapshot. We have a code suggestion snapshot. Which is our... Yeah, it's our collection of code suggestions. So I think we're just going to add to the list of code suggestions. Does that make sense? I think that's what we want to do. See, there's so much logic. Update spelling errors, last spelling errors. There's so much crap going on in here that it's kind of confusing for me to figure this out. And please, chat room, if there's something you see, let me know here, because I am really confused by this. So do update. It'd be good to do all this work on the background thread, but we can't. I don't care. It should be only called on the UI thread because what does this actually do? Update the snapshot for the factory and calling the sync. Yeah, I probably... Well, I'm going to be doing stuff with the text editor. I might need it, Mr. Magoo. I might. But I think my code suggestion proxy. This is where we need to be. Get the name of the underlying document buffer. Hey, S&B.
Double bazinga.
Thanks so much for the subscription. Yes, we'll make that donation to Girl Develop It. Very cool. Thank you so much. 7 months in a row. Thank you very, very much for hanging around with us. It's been great. So let's see here. So looking at this, I'm not sure I need this at all. I have the current snapshot, which is the current list of things that are in the error list. The buffer and the text view are the current text editor that I'm looking at. Step 1 should be adding items to the bottom window, though. Text editor taggers are hard. Do you have a list of requirements for this? No, I don't. I don't. I'm going to remove this for right now, because this is a little confusing and I'm not sure we're actually doing anything with it. But when this is created, we're going to create a new code suggestions factory. Which updates the errors actually inside of that snapshot. You have written Visual Studio extensions. If I know what you're trying to achieve, I might be able to help. Terrific. So I didn't want to start that. It shouldn't have started. What we're trying to achieve is, hey, Fretya, we want to receive from a SignalR service a list of errors, a list of code suggestions, and we want to put them at the bottom of the error list. Now, I think I may have too many of these classes here. I've really tried to duplicate exactly what's going on here. If I make the proxy here the actual interactions and listening, right? My proxy I'm trying to equate to spell checker here. So let's get rid of some of these other things. And let's put this over here. Spell checker over there. So, right, the spell checker is actually taking the current document. It's grabbing the document buffer. Hey, Pixelogic. Oh, thanks. Thank you. It is great to be back. And what this is doing is it's identifying the UI dispatcher and setting up a spelling errors factory so that it can actually manage the spelling errors that it's going to report, right? Now, if I come down here, I'm looking for, where does it actually do the spell check? Right? I mean, it's going after comments in the code, right? And I want to see it do the spell check here, right? It's actually putting things into a text box and determining if there's a spelling error. Check that out. That's a text box. Is there a get tags method? Let's see. I don't think so. But there is an add tagger. Mrs. C# Fritz has a question for me. Are you kidding? Thank you. Okay. So it's adding the tagger and it's getting a classifier. Normalized snapshot collection, right. And then provider add spell checker this. You will receive a code suggestion via SignalR and add it to the bottom list. Yes, that's correct. That's kind of right. If I come back over here to, oh, here's the proxy over here. Here's the workflow that the pseudo code we think we're going to create a connection to the bot HTTP endpoint, get the current list of suggestions that the bot has for us, start listening for more suggestions, raise an event or call a method to publish suggestions, and then we also need to be able to dismiss or complete a suggestion. The iTagger stuff, I agree, is not needed yet. At some point, we're going to want to tag the code and say, oh, there's a suggestion that's waiting that you could put in here. But I'll agree with you in the short term, we don't need it. And I'm right, we can go as far as to actually exclude from project for right now. That would be a separate job. I kind of agree with you. Hey, Wanted. Good to see you. So if I exclude that, right, and all this stuff for the tagger, I do agree. Don't need. I'm now juggling these things back and forth. There we go. Let's get rid of some of these. Okay. Where was it? With the... Where was it? Yeah, the tagger here. We can get rid of this. We are going to no longer be a view tagger provider. Let's get rid of that. Which means we don't need this. Right? Let's see here. What do we got? Build failed. Now, this one, VS error category, does not exist. I don't know why we're getting that. That feels like there's a Visual Studio SDK that's not available. So I'm not quite sure what the problem is. Because, right, we need to indicate the severity. This is, right, this is information that we're returning. And when I control dot on this, it doesn't know what that is. Let's see if we can figure out where that should be. It should be coming out of Visual Studio Shell Interop from Visual Studio Shell Interop 8. All right. Visual Studio Shell. I don't have Shell Interop. Well then. Visual Studio Shell Interop. All right, which one do I need? Design time? No, I don't want the design time ones. Do I just pull that one because it's the latest? Is it there? No. Which one does Spellchecker have? Visual Studio Shell Interop and Interop 8 and 9. All right, so we'll do those. Visual Studio Shell, I'll get rid of that. And I'll add shell.interop. Let's see if it's... Oh, it is good. Oh, it's good. These two look the same. I'll take that one. And it grabbed 11 and 12. I don't know what the difference is between these two. Well, I'll just grab them all. Can I control dot now? No. Shell interop and shell interop 11 and 12. Oh, it wanted 8 and 9. Whatever. Yeah, let's grab 8 and 9. I don't... Oh, there they are. I'll grab... I don't... I mean, they look the same, you know? Ah, there it goes. Terrific. All right, one less error. Ooh. So I might be able to build now. And then we can really break some eggs. Did it build? Come on. You know you want to work. Do it. There is a mismatch between the processor architecture and blah, 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 blah. x86, this mismatch may cause runtime failures. Huh? Visual Studio settings 15. Okay. Microsoft Visual Studio. I don't see settings. Oh, that's spell checker. My bad. Up here. This one. Okay. Do I even really need that? I probably do. Should add a drum roll to that build ticker. Rats, I don't have a drum roll. I've got this. Where was it? Yeah. You know what? I don't have Karnak running. Let's get him up and running. Yeah. Look at that. Well, Visual Studio is x86, so I shouldn't have too much of a problem there, right? I mean, you're never going to have Visual Studio extensions running x64. With the new Twitch terms of service, are the sound effects still usable? They're less than 30 seconds. So, yeah. Where was I? Platform target, this should be x86. So if I rebuild that now, should work. Yeah, look at that. You can see it there behind me. Woohoo! All right. Let's see here. Oh yeah, and I haven't had anybody talk to me about sound effects. So, okay. So the next piece, I believe, is going to be to go over here to this. See, here's where I'm kind of confused. How do I raise that notification? How do I send that information back? That, well, I guess I put it on. Okay, let's talk this through. We're going to create a new code suggestion factory. We're going to have access, right? The code suggestion factory has the current snapshot. So I can grab the snapshot and I can add onto it new. Well, I can update errors. Dispose, get the current snapshot. So I can get the current snapshot. Here's a walkthrough that might be beneficial for this project. Let's take a look-see at this. Displaying light bulb suggestions. Yes, we linked this to some of this earlier. Create a MEF project. Visual C# extensibility, then V6 project, name a solution, blah, blah, blah. Add an editor classifier item to the project. Implement the light bulb source provider. Inside the source provider class, import the iText structure navigator selector. I'd like to buy a noun, please.
Do it!
I shall. Implement the create suggested action source method to return an iSuggested action source object. Ugh. Implement the iSuggested action source. Yeah. Has suggested actions async. Yeah. Get suggested actions. Okay. Implement the light bulb actions. I want to put stuff on the error list. This is a piece that I do want to build. Roslyn Analyzer is going to be a little bit different, right? Roslyn Analyzer you're going to have to add to each project in order to get it to work. So this I think is the second piece to the puzzle. Not extending editor and language services. I want to extend the error list. No, I'm not creating a custom debug engine. Oh gosh, no. No. Not going in there. It's not a big deal to add an analyzer, though, and are much easier, I think. Yes and no. They are easier. However, you're going to have the analyzer run then on everybody's Visual Studio that is building the project. And that feels weird. Right? Where this is something where clearly I, as the editor who is using the tool, wants to use this. Let's start pushing through this and see what we can figure out, what we can break. So I have a provider, I have a buffer, I have a current snapshot. I don't really care about those too much. But what I think I do need to do after I create the factory is I need to start listening to SignalR. Let's start muddling through and seeing what that looks like. So I haven't added it yet, but let's add the SignalR. Manage NuGet packages. All right. So I am looking for the SignalR client. SignalR client core. Here it is. Oh, we already have it? Microsoft ASP.NET Core, SignalR Common Client Core. Oh, fantastic. Never mind that. All right. Let's go over here. SignalR.NET Client. Mads Christensen's Extensibility Essentials. What do we have here, S&B? Image Optimizer, Command Explorer, Registry Explorers, known monikers, Clean Mef Component Cache. I don't know what Mads has here. IntelliSense for, wow, look at all that. Dialog for digitally signing V6s. I don't have this. Browser link provider class. Very cool. Let me come back to that. This is what I want to do. So we're going to implement an ASP.NET Core SignalR.NET client. So I need a hub connection builder, the location of where we're connecting to, build it, and then we're going to... Now, it doesn't have a connection start there either. Where's the connection? There it is, down there. So when connect click, we're going to connect and go do the thing. And then the closed event is what it's going to use to try and reconnect here. Mads has a detailed blog. Let's take a look at that as well. What do we got? Don't skip the introduction. I'm skipping it. Know the resources, official documentation. Know how to search for help. Use open source as a learning tool. Short of watching that video, I'll have to come back to that. But, you know, let me leave it open at least. Let's do this bit right here so that we get our connection. Let's put an underscore on this so that we have... Yep, we need our... I want a using statement there. Thank you. Okay. And now let's generate that field. On connection closed. Task delay. I need my tasks. Await restart. Shouldn't it now? There's no. That's fine. Okay, good. Good. What are you laughing at me for, S&B? What's going on there? All right, so start listening. It's not this location. The location that I need it to listen to is going to be wherever Stream Tools is. Follower Hub. Right? Yeah. Because we're going to be publishing through here. Code Suggestion Manager. There we go. Follower Client Update Code Suggestions. So we want to get into group code suggestions on new code. Now, I forget how we did that before. We built a web page to handle this, to do this. Code suggestions. Here it is. So we connected to... Hub start code suggestions, and we referenced our Stream Hub library. This is learning from our past work that we've done, which is here. / follower stream groups equals code suggestion. All right, that's what we're going to do. So from... Where's the proxy? I had it. Let me know if I'm getting you lost here. So instead of going to that, groups equals code. I know I spelled that wrong. That's better. Now I don't know. It's not going to be localhost 53353. Blah. Laughing is good. I'm not picking on your friends. Never mind. So I don't know where it's going to be listening yet, right? So I'm going to put a to-do here. This URL needs to come from configuration settings. And just to make that a little bit more explicit, let's pull that out. No, pull the whole thing out. Just so that it's already prepped there so that we know how and where we're going to inject it so that the code below this is a little bit, well, so that it doesn't need to be modified, right? And actually, if I was really thinking this through, let's make this a private string source URL equals, what was that? I have Skype open for some reason. And it's not, that's cute. That's nice. I'm going to have to just kill Skype. My bad. My apologies. That shouldn't be open. There it goes. Okay, this and over there. All right. Okay. Source URL. Yep, get. Actually, let's do this. Fat arrow, right? And right now, I can move this here, and I can change this to source URL. So now this method doesn't need to change at all. When we decide where we're pulling this from settings, I can just modify this property and get it appropriately and load it in there. Hey, Brave Cobra. Someone want me on Skype? A friend was dropping me an instant message, yeah. All right, so right by abstracting this, it's going to make my start listening just work. But I also now need to start listening for those other events that we're going to have raised. And we had an event raised called on new code. So let's listen for that. Whoa! Oh my gosh, Brave Cobra. Oh, that's terrible to hear. All right, listen up, friends. If you have any kind of an opportunity, if you have folks that are hiring and looking for a great developer at your organization, get in touch with Brave Cobra there. He is an amazing developer and has done a ton of stuff to help us here on stream. And, oh, that's terrible. That is terrible to hear. If you need a developer, get in touch. You can click through to Brave Cobra's profile there. That is a significant mistake to. Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that. Hey, Bitlaw, good to see you. If they don't want you to innovate, yeah, that's troubling. All right. I'm going to go back to handling some of these things here. I'm disappointed to hear that. On new code, when I receive an information about a new code, I'm kind of at a loss as to what to say. I need to specify a method that we're going to invoke here when we receive new code. Let's see here. I want to create a new method. And we're going to have parameter types coming in also, right? Because on new code receives a suggestion which has a couple of properties to it, doesn't it? Oh, glad to hear it, Brave Cobra. That's a good good on you. That's the right spirit to have about this. We're not defined by our current employer. We're defined by what we've been able to accomplish. Oh gosh, I'm still kind of, I don't know what to say. The chat bot has that concept of a code suggestion here. I feel like I need this same object available to my, I'm going to, you know what? No, let's not copy it. Let's add it as a reference. Right? So you can actually do something here where you can add an existing item. And this is inside the chat bot. I'm going to reach into the commands, grab that code suggestion, and add it as a link. Fair? Oh, crumbs. We've got something already named that. I could put it in a folder. It doesn't matter what I call it. From bot. Doesn't matter what I call this folder, because it's a bogus folder. So if I grab that, add it as a link, it's there, and it has a... Yeah, I know it is, punk. But I'm going to be able to reference it. Yeah, I get it. Where is it? Then open it already. So it'll be in the chatbot commands, and I'll have this object. So now if I go back over here, my parameter types, this is an array. So type of Fritz chatbot. Ah, come on. Nope, not going to find it. Dot code suggestion, which I feel like needs to be moved out to somewhere else. This is a new type array. Okay. Cannot convert system type to int. Well, no, I'm not done here. Okay, now the handler. It's interesting. It's almost like it should be... Ah! Let's do this. Ooh. Right, can I make that a generic? And then on new code. Generate method. Yes! All right, now I'm listening for that suggestion and I can go punch it out there. Let's see. Haven't reached that point. Yeah. Sometimes it would be nice to be able to step away from our employer and be able to do a whole bunch of other things that might be cool and fun and more interesting to us. But there is something to be said for having a good employer that has benefits and some of those other things that we need in this world. All right, let's so when we receive new code, now we want to raise, here's that suggestion that I received, go do something with it. Yeah. So I need to figure out what that port is. But when we receive new code, I don't want to throw a not implemented. I want to actually add it to my collection of code suggestions inside. Which one has it? It's not. Yeah, that project. Too many projects. I think it's. Is it the provider? Yeah, list of. Well, there's the code suggesters. I'm only ever going to have one, I hope. So it's not there. I'm looking for that collection of... Is it in the snapshot? Yeah, there's the list of suggestions. So if I add something to that list... Start the next Microsoft. I agree, Stelzy. Let's go. No. So if I've got a list of code suggestions here, I need to add to it, and then I need to say, all right, now update. update the list. So if I just add to that, I don't think I can just plain add to it. You know what I mean? I mean, let's start there. Let's see what happens. So on new code, here's some place where I wish I had auto mapper. Hello, Dangeheimer fan. Guten Nachmittag. Let's see here. So, not the... well, if I go... Hang on. If I say this dot factory dot get current snapshot... I can't add to it. The current factory is going to be this one, which does expose... Oh, no. Okay, which it gets me into the snapshot. The snapshot... Hang on. Where was I? Factory... Get current snapshot returns an iTable entry snapshot. Very nice. X I'm Venny. Thank you. More like a single person thing. Brings in the bacon, lets me build things that delight me. Oh yeah. No, not 9. Like, oh, you know what I mean.
Oh my.
All right, let's see what we got here. So if I get the current snapshot, right, this is actually, right, get current snap, bad idea, Jeff. Here, get current snapshot, when I call that, right, just returns this current snapshot, which is a code suggestion snapshot. Ooh, boy. So if I do that, right, there's the suggestions. Now I can add to it and then pass in a new code suggestion item. Right? So I'll figure out how to format that, and then I can pass in new suggestion. But more proficient in single sign-on or SAML. It's been forever since I looked at SAML, and single sign-on is something that I like very much hidden behind all the APIs and abstractions, so that I, as an application developer, don't need to think too much about those. I can just use the framework and the tools that have been provided, and let somebody else manage the construction and management of those. MS can't talk with the old Windows Phone Series 7 series. Java version. Wow, a recruiter already. Oh, good for you, Brave Cobra. And if you do need help with a recruiter, or something like that, let me know. I certainly have a few that I can connect you with. I don't know what the snapshot span is going to be. Start and a length. Yeah, I don't know what this is going to be. We'll skip that for now. The viewer name, I do know what that is. I have that. The line number. Okay. And I think these things will actually be part of that snapshot span. I'm going to put these on separate lines so it's a little bit easier for us to deal with here. The file name. Yeah, I think that's part of the snapshot span as well. And then the suggested code is the body. I know that's going to need to change, but for right now, let's start there. Nothing that ties you to Belgium, flexible at the moment. All right. Am I creating a new code suggestion from a code suggestion object? Ninja Ola, you're absolutely right. I have this chatbot command code suggestion object, and then I've got this internal one here to the Visual Studio extension. That should be deduped. I agree. That should be deduped. Let's come back to that. Let's get it working and then figure out how to simplify this. Rats finished my G Fuel. If you post on LinkedIn that your .NET developer opened a new roles, recruiters, yes, they will come out of everywhere. Let's see what happens with this. Let's just let it roll. Let it ride. Will this work? I feel like I need this to be iDisposable, though, so that it'll properly dispose of that connection. With the dispose pattern. There it is. Yep, I need one of these. Dispose true. Here it is. Dispose managed state, the managed objects. Yeah. So, zero day. Nice. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Hey, Cam does cool stuff. Good morning. The snapshot span is like a pointer into a text buffer that could be, for instance, a word in the editor. You don't have one of those, but you can probably get one that matches the file line number. Yes, SQL Mr. Magoo. I think you're right. Snapshot span. That's not should. Should be the location of the code we're going to suggest injecting. All right. Down here, we need to close that connection. Stop. You know what? I think we can... do I want to continue with, or do I just dispose? I bet you we can just dispose directly and it'll close the connection if it's needed. And I feel like we should... I don't need to do a get result. There is no result. Cool. That way it'll run synchronously instead. They actively require you to do fun, innovative stuff. It's a lovely meritocracy. Ah, yeah. Oh yes. Yeah. Let me know if I can help, Brave Cobra. I'm happy to help. if there's anything there that we can do to get you into a new position. All right. I think that's everything I need for this. Right? Try and build it. And then there's like several pieces here we need in order to debug this. So I'm going to change the way that my application starts here. I'm going to set my startup projects. And we're going to change how this starts because I need to start a couple different things in order to test this. So I'm going to start Stream Tools. I need this running. And I also need to start this one. Now, before we go too much further, let's go figure out where this is going to be listening if we're connecting to the locally running project. And actually, I could just run this on my own outside of Visual Studio, right? If I go to my launch settings, that's the location that it's going to be listening on. Okay. Yeah, you know what? Let's run that from a command prompt. Dev Fritz. That's not how you spell Fritz. Stream Tools. I should be able to just .NET run and have it out there running. You were hired to be Skunkworks? That's so cool. That is so cool. All right, now I've got two bots running, but this one's hanging out here doing its thing. Cool. Now if I set... Right, and where's it listening? It should tell me where it's listening. Da, 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 da. It's not telling me where it's listening. But it should be on that location. There it is. Okay. So if I start this, I should get in, start the live coding project. Set that as the startup. Ooh, look at that. What happens if I click that? It'll attach to the current instance? That's weird. Okay. Let's see what happens. Something's happening. I don't know if it's the same for Roslyn CodeFix. It did start a new instance, right? The experimental instance, right? Right, so there's, right, if you haven't done this before, this is going to look a little weird. I'm debugging Visual Studio. I know, that's weird. That's really weird. All right, let's just open a file. Just going to do a new file, just some text file, just something. Come on, you can do it. And if you haven't seen me debug and work with Visual Studio like this, in the what they call the experimental instance, right? This is an instance that has all of your extensions that you're building inside of it. Yeah, let's close this. Okay. I just want to open a blank text file. I don't care what it is. Give me my error list. Okay, now I'm kind of hanging here. And the question's going to be, are we hanging on my code? Something else that I've noticed, we haven't called connection start yet. Look at that. It synced down all my settings. Nice. All right. So if I say view error list, so there's my error list. So far, so good. But I need to start that connection. You know what I mean? So after we define everything here, let's connection start. Try this again. Rats. Here we go. Here we go. Come on. All right, I've jumped right into the experimental instance. I've got a breakpoint over here I'm hoping to see us hit. Okay. I'm not seeing my code suggestion proxy start yet. Okay. Right, none, and in fact, it's not clear to me why it's not connecting yet. Okay. Assets. I don't have any assets to include yet. Oh. Well, here we go. This might be part of it. If I look at spell checker, assets. There we go. We need to include the project. All right. I'm feeling you. Okay. So let's do that. Let's put in the manifest, add new asset type is a MEF component. Source, project in the current solution. This project, moron. Whatever. Sure. Try again. Do you have to install the extension, or does that happen automatically? It should happen automatically because I've pressed debug start on this project. Good question, Fretya. It's not a bad thing to be passionate about code. Never a bad thing. Okay, now it has loaded it. All right. And expected one export with contract name. Ooh. iText editor factory service. The plot thickens. iText editor factory service. All right. Didn't this have... Right, there was a MEF export on one of these. So MEF, the Managed Extensibility Framework, is a way that Visual Studio and other other projects, other products, you do a little bit of dependency injection. You export contracts from one assembly, and then you import those contracts into another, and you declare something satisfies that contract with these attributes, export, like this. That's the managed extensibility framework. These two assemblies have no knowledge of each other. They just happen to be in the same folder, and because it exports this, Visual Studio will find it and load it. And it didn't find that interface that it was looking for, but I'm also not seeing project. It's a MEF component. If I edit that, right, Microsoft Visual Studio MEF component, spell checker. Yeah. Interesting. Try it again. Take a look at what that error is. This is also something that I don't see. Thank you, Visual Studio. Not there. The light bulb suggestions. When this is created, there it is. Export type of I suggested actions source provider. So inside of our provider, here, what was it? I table something? I text table something? Try it again. Oh, Gareth, separating code for hire and personal projects is it's a challenging problem. I didn't want a new project. I wanted just a new file. There we go. Come on. iText editor factory service. Like that. No. iText editor factory service. Here, this, that. Let's see what we got here. This is a MEF component and should be imported as follows. Well, it's already being imported by somebody else. Create a text view method. How can I fix this problem? Clearing the Visual Studio component model cache. Just rename this folder or... Oof. Just rename or delete the Microsoft Visual Studio default cache file inside the above location. This is one of those features that Mad's extension was supposed to do for us. Clear MEF component cache. Oh my gosh. Hello, Sismus. Oh my gosh. 20 gift subscriptions. 20. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Noose Noodles. Thank you for the follow, but I want to highlight some of these. Wow. WBW72. Puckpaw. Darth Minos. Restarted. Cobbled. Brave Cobra. Black Vulcan. Crooked Finger Guy. The bot got one. Oh my gosh, and here's Dee Dee Walsh. Hey, Dee Dee. 20 subs from Dee Dee. Oh my gosh, thank you very, very much. Wow, 40 gift subscriptions. This is what I am flattered. Thank you. We're going to make some donations to Girl Develop It. That is awesome. Awesome stuff. Heck yes, the hype for Sismus. Svava, you are absolutely right. Did I ever manage to get someone from Girl Develop It? I am in touch with them. I haven't had them on yet. We're working on that. Keep doing what I'm doing. Well, thank you, and I hope to see you next week at our event. I know I'm going to see you next week. Can't wait to see the next donation. It's going to be really good. Oh, and they're reminding me that I'm late for a meeting. Is it that time? It is that time. I'm so sorry. Here's what I'm going to do, friends. We're very close to getting the extension up and running here. So let's do this. What a great way to remind somebody they're late for a meeting. I am going to end the collaboration session here. I'm going to check in what I've got for right now. Let's exit this one. Let's add all this. Getting extension working. All right. That's not. Commit that. Push that in case anybody wants to take a look and see if you can help out here. Mead of Nom. Thank you. I appreciate the follow. Did I push? I pushed. Good. And were my ears burning? No. Dee Dee just mentioned it right there. All right. That's interesting why the hype didn't work properly the second time. Interesting. All right, let's do this. I'm going to raid our friend Mark Miller. I saw him pop up there. If you want to hang out, if you want to join him, don't have to do anything. You can just stay around in chat, and you'll jump right over there. I'll be back tomorrow. I need to work out exactly what time tomorrow. But let's get you over there to our friend Mark Miller. We're going to continue working on this extension. We're really close to getting it up and running. And hopefully we'll start receiving our first set of code suggestions in Visual Studio. Thanks so much, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. And take a couple... thanks so much for those latest follows. Take over a couple .NET bots and say hi to Mark for me, all right? We'll see you then. Take care.